Hey everyone, this is Teacher Aya, your host, and welcome to another episode focusing on the Sustainable Development Goals. In today's episode, we will be tackling about Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which is quality education. And joining me in today's conversation relating to the issues of quality education in their respective countries are Teacher Jerry from Niger and Teacher David from Colombia. Please tell us about your country.
Yeah, so about Niger. So Niger is a French-speaking country. Okay, it's located in West Africa, and Niger is a country that is in the Sahara Desert. Okay, so the country is like at the start of the desert. So most cities are at the south, because at the south is the country Nigeria, and in Nigeria, like the south is kind of tropical, so most people live in the south of Niger. So Niger is very dry and humid country. Sometimes it can be like 35 or 38 degrees.
Oh my
hot.
goodness. Okay.
Yeah, it's desert.
In your country, how important is education?
Well, education is free actually for 7 to 15 range, high schoolers from 7 to 15. But there's a catch. The thing is, the standard is really poor. The government infrastructure is quite lacking. See, the problem is Niger has been like a kind of country where in corruption and the basis of education is not really quite strong. Most people in Niger go to other countries to study, like Nigeria or Ghana or something. So like the educational standard is not really that high, and like the literacy rate now is really low. It's like 15% when it comes to children are like educated, so it's quite really low. But then recently UN and other relief programs have been working towards the betterment of the young kids, future leaders and so on.
Okay, so there were some actions taken. So what do you think is considered the greatest barrier to education in Niger?
Well, one of the greatest barrier is because of the country's economy. Okay, it's like, how could I go to school if I can't eat? Or how could I go to school properly if I don't have good clothes to wear? So all those factors are really leading contribution. So Niger is a country of roughly about, I would say, 23 million, and there are also early teenage pregnancies happening there. It's like we have nothing else to do, just wandering, and life is not really that silver cloud with the silver lining. So the young adults or the young people there, there's no interest in education because there are other necessaries that have to be met, other things. So education really is low when it comes to that because of the economy. The economy is bastardized. Yeah.
I see. It's really one of the greatest factor affecting. Aside from the economy impacting education system in your country, what are the other factors as well? You've mentioned about early teen pregnancies.
Yeah, about early teen pregnancies. Well, one thing I heard of recent, because I don't live currently in Niger, is that there are some like NGOs that are now like going forward to help with the teenage pregnancies, because not just teenage pregnancies, there are also drug abusers there. But then besides the whole teenage pregnancies, there is gangsters and there is drug addiction. So these two factors go hand in hand, and then alcoholism. People like to drink alcohol. I mean, Africans love to celebrate. So in their element, that's what's going on. So a lot of people are out of jobs and less people are working. So less comes in than goes out, kind of thing.
I like what you said, like everything goes hand in hand. Poverty. With poverty, there's not enough education and everything else just follows. So my question is, what has the Nigerian government done to address the issue?
Well, recently, I know the government of Niger usually sponsor a handful of the top smart kids in the country. What I know, okay, as a form of encouragement, it's like the government would pick maybe in every year from a governmental school, they would pick like the brightest student or top 2, 3, and like sponsor them abroad, take them to school and then like kind of bring them back to reform and to help, with the economy, because at least the more literate you are, the better your understanding, the more open you are, the more you travel, the more better it is. So that's one of the major steps that I know has been taking when it comes to the betterment of everyone, taking young stars at their early prime to educate them.
Which is actually good, but in your opinion, is that good enough?
Not really, because education is for all.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
if you really fix home, you don't have to take anyone away, because it's the same knowledge. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is to be shared. So, in my opinion, it's not really the best they could do. Yeah.
I see. Thank you. Now, I've read about Niger, your country, and gender discrimination, not only in your country actually, but gender discrimination is one of the many barriers to
True.
education around the world. So,
Yeah.
how does gender inequality impact the education in your country?
Well, for starters, okay, ladies or like females in Niger, 56, I think about 57%, okay, of girls are out of school. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like half the populace when it comes to the female gender is like either not educated or dropped out or have never been to school.
What
Yeah.
what are the reasons? Why?
Well, as I've said, poverty. The GDP is
Okay.
low. The income is low. Okay, their right to education is being deprived by family factors and other factors. So like for one thing to fall in, others have to fall out. So also I would not lie, the government have their hand in it, because most of the religion there is like we have two religions majorly. We have the Islamic religion there, Christians, and like African traditional religion, ATR. So it's kind of like leading towards the Muslim side. Yeah, the most of the population is from Islamic side. So it's not being uh, any wrong in saying that mostly the girls there don't really see themselves going to school. They don't buy the idea. It's more like saying, okay, the guys go to school because they would be the one to provide. But then some ladies or some people take a stand, and they're like, yeah, why not I go to school? Like a lady is a breadwinner.
Yes, exactly. Ladies can work too and study just like the
Yeah.
men. For you, what needs to be done in order to improve the quality of basic education in your country, aside from what the government is doing right now?
Well, aside what the government does, for starters, okay, for change to begin, I think they say change begins with you, right? Change begins with you. So, as a youth leader or as someone of importance, or if you could do something in your abilities, volunteering is a good start. Most people are reluctant in my country, or rather, sometimes ignorant when it comes to this. So, the ignorancy also comes with illiteracy, you know.
Mm.
So it's like you have to, get out of your bubble,
Yes.
try, explore, and make
Not
a move.
be afraid to take
Yeah,
risks, just
yeah,
like you. Now you're an engineer.
yes.
You're a good role model to the kids back home in Asia.
I hope so.
Of course. All right.
Yeah.
For you, what would be the effects of an improved literacy in Niger? Let's say, for example, we've already achieved the goals
Mhm.
in improving the quality of education. What would be the possible effects?
Well, for starters, okay, the more learned people there are in Niger, in my better opinion, the better and faster the economy grows. In Niger, one of the major deposits when it comes to minerals, natural resources, is uranium. Okay, we have uranium in my country. So think of it as like, the more, I don't know, smart people they are, the more efficient it is when it comes to energy and supply. Because Niger, we get our own electricity from Nigeria, another country. Niger is a country that's landlocked. We don't have a major source of water. Our water is from another country, flows from another country. So, we have the power to harness our own energy. So I feel like one of the positive impacts would be education, and then, fixing or using the own country's natural resources. We are also expertise in like subsistence farming and irrigation farming. So and we do good when it comes to irrigation farming and all this, because it's been like that. So we're quite kings in our own lane. So I feel like the more students or the more people get into what's around them and educate themselves about their environment, it will grow significantly.
Please tell us about your country, Colombia.
Okay, I was wondering, can I show you some pictures?
Definitely, please do.
Okay. So Colombia is known as the gateway to South America.
Wow.
It is also known as a land of extremes. It has tropical beaches in the Caribbean, deserts, snow-covered volcanoes, and very high mountains. In the
So
south, you
beautiful.
can find, yes, even the Amazon forest, a very wonderful jungle, which is very, very wonderful. As for people, you can find very isolated towns and also overcrowded cities like Bogota. Definitely a very diverse country.
It
Here in
is.
Colombia, yeah, people has European, African, and Amerindian roots. So it is a country with so many diverse people.
You know what? I was so amazed with the video. Thank you so much. You're the first teacher who showed a video actually during the interview. So I believe the students are very happy to see what Colombia has to offer, especially for tourists, once the pandemic has settled down. Now, how important is education in your country, Teacher David?
Wow, it's one of the number one goals for the government.
Mm.
So I'd like to highlight two institutions that have worked hard to make Colombia a better educated country.
Please do.
The first one, thank you, is the Ministry of National Education.
Mm.
This ministry has been working hard on a plan for making Colombia the most educated country in Latin America in 2025.
Wow. So they have their own goal. Okay.
Yes, they've been working hard, also building schools and giving incentives to teachers so they can move to more isolated areas to help students and people to get more educated.
That is great. And what is the second one?
Second one is National Training Service, or SENA for its Spanish acronym. This institution is focused on giving students tools for them to get to work so they can join the workforce with special abilities that can make companies stronger and also enhance the workforce.
How amazing is your country? Wow. So, how is the education system in your country like?
Okay, well, it is based in American education system.
Oh, okay.
Also, education is completely free. So from elementary school to high school, you don't have to pay a penny.
Is that so? Oh my goodness. But it's only available for Colombian people, of course. How about like
No,
everyone who's in Colombia?
everyone. Yes.
Oh my goodness. How great is Colombia? My country should follow your country's footsteps.
It's very interesting because also Colombia offers bilingual education to all students. So everyone is able to speak Spanish as a native language and also English as a second language.
Interesting. Now, have any measures been implemented for the students, concerning the COVID-related safety measures and protocols in the schools?
Yeah, schools were absolutely closed until the middle of this year. And it has been hard for students to get to class and to learn something. Actually, I read a very sad article yesterday. It said that 30% of kids in rural areas have no access to internet or computers, so they could not go to school in 2020.
In that case, what does the government do to help, these kids who don't have access, like any access to school?
Well, they're working hard. On the beginning of the pandemic, they gave free access to data. So students can, for the first 3 months of pandemic, completely free access to education. Also, they're giving some financing, some equipments, computers, internet lines, so students can connect. They are working hard, but as it is a very new situation for us, they are still having a hard time.
I see. Now, in that case, what do you think is considered the greatest barrier, to education in Colombia?
The greatest barrier for education is inequality.
Please tell
As
us
I told you,
more.
overcrowded cities, overcrowded cities have all services, energy, internet, everything works pretty good. But in rural areas, more isolated towns, they have a hard time connecting to internet or getting education. So it sometimes is because of geography. Colombian geography is so diverse. Sometimes it's difficult to get to everybody. But government has been working hard on giving equal opportunities to all citizens.
Now, gender discrimination is one of the many barriers to education around the world, of course, not just in our countries. So how does gender inequality impact the education in Colombia?
Well, Colombia's culture sometimes tends to label some careers for men and some others for women. Like these careers are just for men and these are only for women. But these labels are disappearing gradually.
That's good.
Every day we see more women being engineers and also more men working as nurses. These labels in careers are disappearing gradually.
Which is actually a good news, right? So, Teacher David, do you think we will be able to achieve SDG Goal 4 in 2030?
I think it is possible. It is possible. We are working hard on it. Culture is changing. Young people is awakening. So I think it is completely possible. Something I realized about this goal from the United Nations is making education accessible for disabled students or students with disabilities.
Yes.
So this is a very good thing Colombia is doing. Did you know Colombia has its very own sign language, Colombian sign language?
Is that so?
Yeah.
So you guys give
course.
importance to disabled people too in Colombia. You give
Yes.
they are a priority in your country.
They are. There are so many institutions focused on making Colombian Sign Language universal, for the whole country.
That is
And
so
every
sweet.
time a student with audio disability, hearing loss, needs an interpreter, they can ask it to the government, and the government will 100% give it to them.
You know what,
So it is working good.
this is something that other countries should learn about, because sometimes we think of only the people who can do normal things, right? But we sometimes disregard the disabled people who cannot do a lot of things just like normal people can. And I think that's good. In your area, is there like any institution that teaches sign language at school?
Yes, there is. Actually, in so many cities and even little towns in Colombia, you can find sign language interpreters. I'm myself a sign language interpreter. So
Is
it's
that
amazing to see.
so?
Yeah.
Can you do like a sign language? Maybe someone is watching.
Okay, so hey, welcome to Colombia.
Oh,
Here, we welcome everybody from the world so you can learn and you can access to free education.
thank you so much, Teacher David. And wow.
Thank you for watching, everyone. We hope that you have enjoyed and have learned something from watching this video. Before I go, please don't forget that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.